Hello, 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 hello. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. So hope you are able to hear me. Good evening, everyone. Can anyone confirm?
Yeah, you're audible, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We have the speaker already here, and we will start with the proceedings. Like anyway, we will definitely start at 6 p.m. Before that, we will complete the formalities of introduction to each other and other formalities. So let me just open our. So today's webinar is on opportunities in the world of pharmacovigilance. Our today's speaker is Dr. Mohammed Hidayatullah. Is the currently working as a Director Medical Affairs, Ossimed Life Sciences, Hyderabad, Telangana, and India. And we will be exactly starting at 6 p.m. So I'll introduce more. And as all of you know that we have two webinar groups, webinar group 1, webinar group 2, and we are almost connected to around 2,000 people through our network in these webinar groups itself. And that is something, which is very good for us. And we are doing really good so that we are able to reach out to a lot of people, including MD pharmacologists, PhD pharmacologists, pharmacists, and many more. All the people who are interested to join our webinars are welcomed. And now let me just introduce our today's speaker. So before that, let me also speak about our society. I think you already know that we are a medical pharmacologist society, and we are doing a lot of work related to MD pharmacologist, and we are trying to develop a very good platform and give opportunity to all the proud pharmacologists who want to serve our profession. So in this way, we are trying to develop a platform where identification of pharmacologists are done and their work are identified, and we give a lot of opportunities for them to participate in various conferences. We invite professionals as speakers in various platforms like webinars, and we are conducting conferences every year, and we are also writing books related to crucial pharmacology trends, majorly targeting the postgraduates. And we have already started a course called MPS Biostatistics course. It's a certificate course, and this is already going on. 30 people registered to our program, and already we have crossed more than 50% of the course material has been delivered to our participants, and it is going on regularly. And this time, what I have done, little bit, you may see that little bit of difference, disturbances that will be seen, majorly because I have introduced a safety feature, so that we don't want any, unauthorized person to enter our program. That's why I have introduced the feature of admit feature, so that only authorized people will enter. and we don't want any unhealthy things to happen during our presentation. So now let me introduce our esteemed speaker, Dr. Sikatullah. As already mentioned, Dr. Sikatullah is, Dr. Sikatullah is one of our esteemed speaker and also our member. Basically, he joined us as the life member and is currently contributed a few chapters in our books, and also he's one of the active contributors to our society, and he volunteered to guide the youngsters by giving the advices to our youngsters and our interested participants. Sorry, a lot of people are still joining. That's why I'm getting a little bit disturbed. Okay. So now I will stop admitting people so that I will introduce Dr. Sibgatullah, and then we'll admit others to join, because it is so many people are just keep on coming in. Okay, so Dr. Sibgatullah is a physician and he's a well-trained MD pharmacologist, and he's also having additional certification in palliative care. He currently serves as the Director of Medical Affairs at OpsiMed Life Sciences, where he oversees the organization's medical functions. As all of you know that, like CROs and pharmaceutical companies, they will have a department called Medical Affairs. Majorly, they look into pharmacovigilance and many pharmacological services. I think Dr. Subratullah will detail more in near future. So he has totally 12 years of clinical and industry experience. Dr. Subratullah has previously had the role of Associate Director at PPD. Now it is called as Thermo Fisher. And his expertise spans across medical reviews of ICSR, signal detection activities, aggregate report preparation, risk management planning, as well as audit and inspection support, along with business development activities. Additionally, he is part of startups such as Think Roman Ventures and Teronex Healthcare Limited. He also serves as basic medical scientist in Mark Independent Ethics Committee. So, very nice to know you, Dr. Sibgatullah. I think it's very, we are very fortunate to have you today on our platform. As all of you know that Medical Pharmacology Society, just to say a few words about society, as all of you know that Medical Pharmacology Society was established in 2016, and since then we have been doing social service, especially serving the profession, medical pharmacologists. As all of you know that medical pharmacologists means they are the persons qualified with MBBS and MD pharmacology, and we accept life memberships from MD pharmacologists. But we don't stop there only. We believe in that, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, and we cater to all the pharmacologists, including M.Pharma or PhD or MSc, everyone, everyone who is who are interested to be associated with us. Basically, all these non-MD pharmacologists, they can't become life members, but they can become honorary members by providing extraordinary, services to to our association, our society. So they can be associated with us with a lot of, they should contribute to our society in that way without any fees, without the extraordinary contributors like MSc, PhD. They will be honored with honorary membership valid for maybe 3 years, and then continued we'll allow them to continue as honorary members with by renewing their membership as honorary members. Honorary members will not be able to control the society, but they will be able to get the benefits of our society because they served our society in honorary roles and supported our mission and development of MD pharmacologists and also our society. So this is how we are scattered, and we will be definitely like to support anyone and everyone if they are pharmacologists in their whatever the best way possible in our abilities to grow their dreams, to nurture their skills and nurture their skills and betterment of them also. So in this way, we would like to support our fellow colleagues and develop a very nice society so that we recognize people by providing a lifetime achievement awards and senior MD pharmacologist award, young pharmacologist award like this. Okay, so we do these honors during our MPS Con, generally happens once a year. And next MPS Con 2026 will happen in Sirisimar. And we would like to invite you all to come to our site at Sirisimar, Bangalore. On most probably May 20th, 21st, 22nd, most probably we'll be holding the conference. We look forward to see you all. We will be starting our webinar soon. Okay, so thank you so much. Welcome, Dr. Subratullah. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to hear you. And I will be, allowing the remaining participants because many of them are in the queue. And since I was talking, I'm not able to do, dual things. I thought, let me finish off my talk and introduce you and introduce our society, which are very important for us that we introduce our society so that many new joiners also learn about our society. And thank you so much. And now I think exactly 6 o'clock. Please take over the stage and you can go ahead with the presentation. Thank you.
So very good evening, one and all. Thank you, Dr. Shivkumar. That was a very elaborate introduction of mine. I presume you're adding other people as well. So would I need to wait for a few more minutes?
No. Please go ahead.
Okay, great. Yeah. So before I start, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the MPS Con Society for giving this opportunity for me to present in this webinar. So it's been almost 1.5 years, 2 years, wherein I became part of this particular society, and they are doing yeoman service in providing a platform to the pharmacologists and doing a great job in promoting science, I would say. So many congratulations for that, and I believe lot more people need to be associated with this particular society, and it's doing tremendous job in promoting drug safety, pharmacovigilance, and stuff like that. Saying that, I would start off with the presentation. Let me know if my screen is visible.
No. Yeah, it is starting. Let me. Yeah, it is visible. Can you make it yeah, it is in presentation now. Thank you.
Yeah. So, as I was told, the participants would include mostly, the physicians, MD pharmacologists, and we would also have, other people from other healthcare professionals from pharmacy, nursing, and dental background. So, I have kept my presentation a little bit generic, so as to, appeal to all the participants who are in this particular webinar. More or less, everybody is aware what pharmacovigilance is and why it is important. Previously, even if you go back in time by maybe a couple of decades, we were mostly at detection of adverse event. The problem is still there that we are not able to have a great amount of reporting, but we are doing well on that particular front. There is a huge amount of improvement in reporting of adverse events. But yes, a long way to go. And we have also come a long way from just detecting of adverse events to where we are right now. We are also speaking about artificial intelligence and stuff like that. So it's basically a science wherein we detect, assess, understand, and try to prevent the adverse events which are happening with a lot of drugs. And by default, this is also extended to the cosmetics. By default, it is also extended to the vaccines. By default, it is extended to nutraceuticals, veterinary drugs, so on and so forth. The basic motto is to make sure, to ensure that the drugs, whatever we are taking, they have got greater amount of benefit when compared to the risk associated with them in treatment of any medical condition. So it is very important for public health and patient safety. There are a lot of articles. There are so many reports which says about the unforeseen cost, which is unforeseen expenditure, which is spent on treatment of adverse events, undue hospitalization, deaths, suffering, which usually happens. It's an under-touched subject, but there are a lot of good papers which are there on this particular topic, and that is where pharmacovigilance comes into fore. One more important thing, what usually people confuse is, they believe that pharmacovigilance starts once the drug is in market. But I want to make this demarcation very clear. It starts from the pre-marketing phase. It starts from the clinical trial safety onwards. So any phase of the trial, you have got any subjects involved. That is where the pharmacovigilance starts. In other words, it starts right from the birth of the drug, and it continues as long as it is there on the shelf, as long it is being consumed by people or the masses. The second misconception what people usually have is with regard to pharmacovigilance is, there are a lot of safe drugs. For example, paracetamol. It can be, it's a safe drug. It is usually not associated with adverse event. But we do have recent reports that particular report has come up from US FDA, and there were some label changes which have been suggested that mothers who consume paracetamol during pregnancy, there are greater chances of they delivering fetuses with neonates with ADHD disorders. So no drug is safe. We need to continue to monitor it. We need to check for all the adverse events which are associated. There can be some new information which can actually come up, with long-term use. There are a lot of, drugs which we perceive them to be safe, but, regularly there is a lot of new information which comes because we are doing pharmacovigilance. We are monitoring the safety of these drugs. Saying that, now let me move on to speak about various opportunities in pharma and biotech companies, wherein pharmacovigilance is an integral part. Conduct of pharmacovigilance is a mandate. There are regulations for that, whether it is in India, whether it is in US, whether it is in EU. No doubt, European Union, US, these are more regulated market. Even for that matter, TGA from Australia and MedSafe from New Zealand. These are more regulated markets. They have got very stringent regulations in place for conduct of pharmacovigilance. India is also fast catching up. We have improved by leaps and bounds. And it is mandate that all the pharma companies and the biotech companies continue to monitor the safety of the drugs coming under their brand. To maintain this, pharmaceutical and biotech companies, they do have their PV systems in-house, and many of the times it gets outsourced to various CROs, contract research organization, or like the CSO, where I am working in clinical services organization. They have KPOs and BPOs. And these third-party affiliates, they work on behalf of the pharma and biotech companies to conduct, to monitor the safety of the products. And yes, there is a mandate that if a pharma or a biotech company is not conducting pharmacovigilance, they can outsource this to a third party. And one of the reason India is a huge market, why there is a lot of opportunities in field of pharmacovigilance in India, is a lot of work from the West, a lot of work from pharma and biotech companies of the West is coming to India. And that is where there are a lot of opportunities. And in last 3 to 4 years, I have been actively involved in recruitment of our various physicians and various drug safety associates and stuff like that. And I have seen that the number of hirings, these have usually gone up. And the other thing is that usually the companies and the pharma companies and the biotech companies, they usually think what is in them for doing pharmacovigilance. So usually it is a dead investment. What usually these companies may perceive. The reason being, for example, if somebody is putting up money on improving their increasing a new manufacturing plant, they would have generate more amount of revenue. But pharmacovigilance is one such thing. The direct benefit usually the companies don't see. But now, because we have the regulations in place, it is a mandate that pharma and biotech companies continue to do pharmacovigilance. And in case if these are not done, there can be regulatory actions, there can be license suspensions, there can be reputational damage, there can be tremendous amount of fines which can be levied on such pharma companies. So that is where the scope arises for healthcare professionals, including the physicians, including the pharmacy background people, including the nurses and the dentist. We have in the company which I am working, we have people from diverse background, pharmacists, nurses, dentists, physicians, MD pharmacologists, and we do have people who have done MD in other specialties like family medicine and neurologists. Also, we do have who is involved in pharmacovigilance. So there are a lot of opportunities over here. And the entire gamut of my presentation today is dependent on this particular workflow, which I am going to show. So data is the foundational element of pharmacovigilance. That is why we stress upon reporting of adverse event, however trivial they are, in what seriousness they are, we insist on reporting such adverse events. And mind you, before I proceed on, the opportunities in pharmacovigilance, I'm mostly restricting myself onto pharma and biotech companies. Definitely, there are opportunities in academics from pharmacovigilance perspective. There are opportunities in pharmacovigilance in regulatory authorities as well. But my presentation, I would mostly restrict it to, what you call from a pharma and biotech companies perspective. And obviously, we can have some amount of Q&A sessions where we can have some amount of dialogue which can take place probably once I'm done with my presentation. So as I said, data is the most foundational element of pharmacovigilance. We need to report the adverse events. And what can be the different sources of data, safety data coming in? It can be from the articles which are being published in journals. It can be from any registries, example pregnancy registries or anti-epileptic drugs registries, pregnancy registries, anti-HIV drugs registries. It can be data generating from the clinical trials. It can be information which is coming to the pharmaceutical company on their toll-free numbers. It can be information coming to them in the form of social media. Probably I have not mentioned about social media. Now it is also a mandate that pharmaceutical companies also try to screen the social media, something like Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and all, to identify if there is any safety being reported with their products. So all this thing comes to a processing unit. And if we want to construct a building of pharmacovigilance, the basic element, the foundation, as I said, is data. It is the foundational element. And then to make a building, we would need the bricks. So the bricks are constituted in the form of individual case safety reports. So any patient getting an adverse event, it is reported. That is where it is called as individual case safety report. And This is, all these ICSRs, they are collected at a macro level. A lot of them with that particular product are collected. They are further analyzed, what we call it as a periodic safety update report monitoring, or the aggregate report analysis. We also try to look what we call, try to identify signals. It's basically any new causal association with a drug. It can be positive, it can be negative. If we see that a drug is, causing some sort of new side effects which are not reported, that is where, the signal detection comes into play. And we also see that, there can be some drugs which can be associated with certain harms, and we need to have some risk minimization measures. For example, like let's say a classic example, teratogenic drug. Uh, it can be valproate. It can be associated with congenital anomalies in the fetus. We have to make sure that there is some risk management, risk reduction measures in place. So what it can be in the form of, like, giving some sort of flyer, some sort of educational materials to the healthcare professionals who are prescribing valproate, or for that matter, if the patient is consuming a particular drug, there would be patient information leaflets which says that, if anybody is pregnant, this can potentially lead to congenital anomalies in the fetus. So these kind of risk minimization measures are also in the place. In this particular slide, there can be as many as umpteen number of opportunities in the field of pharmacovigilance. So like, let us break it into different aspects. So safety, data collection. So there are what we call as medical information call centers, wherein we have a toll-free number. We have healthcare professionals who are sitting on the other end of the phone, attending those calls from the consumers or the reporters if there is any adverse event which is reported. So they take down all these details, try to do a follow-up with the patient, and this is again in turn routed to the next workflow, that is like, a case is booked. Similarly, the journals, the articles which we publish in the journals, that is also a very great source of information which comes. Regulatory authorities mandate that the pharma and biotech companies screen the literature from, databases such as PubMed, or if an article is, if a journal is indexed in Embase or Scopus, try to screen such databases and try to perform it on a weekly basis at least, and see if there is any side effect which is being reported with a particular drug. So we do have opportunities wherein people screen literature, try to get some sort of information from them, and try to book in cases. Again, the literature information is also used in aggregate report analysis and signal detection activity. Similarly, the data can come in from the clinical trials. It is again processed in the form of an ICSR. So this particular ICSRs which we are speaking about, the middle, the square block, the rectangular block, it basically depicts what happens in during processing of ICSR. So once a case is received, once a patient reports it, the pharma companies, they try to triage it. Triage in the form of whether it is a serious event or a non-serious event, or whether it really qualifies to be an ICSR. So once that is done, a case is booked, and the regulatory timelines, the regulations mandate, whether it is DCGI, whether it is US FDA, whether it is EMA or TGA, they mandate reporting of adverse events to regulatory authorities. There are different formats for that: COMS format, MedWatch format, so on and so forth. So that has to be reported to regulatory authorities. These timelines can range from, like, let's say 1 day to 7 days to 15 days based on the seriousness of those cases. So triaging is must. You need to prioritize what is very important, what needs to be reported to the regulatory authority. So once that particular triage step is done, the data entry happens. You take down all the details from the patient. What are the patient's underlying medical condition? What are the concomitant medications which are consumed by the patient? What are the lab investigations if the patient is having any relevant lab investigations? And apart from that, the patient demographic details, plus were there any, we basically try to identify if there are any confounders or if there is any missing information. We fill up all these details in the case. Subsequently, post data entry, there is a quality review. So as the name suggests, it is basically reviewed whether all the data has been entered correctly or not. Okay. Once what we call the quality review is done, it is pushed on to the medical review field, wherein physicians usually, we do have a lot of MBBS graduates, and then we also have MD pharmacologists and people from different specialties. So they sort of review this particular data. They try to assess the causality. So from a medical perspective, it is very important to see whether a particular adverse event that has been reported, whether it is because of the drug or it is not because of the drug. So we physicians, as physicians, we need to justify if we are attributing it to the drug. What are the reasons why are you attributing it to the drug? Probably there is a positive de-challenge or a re-challenge, or there is a very close temporal relationship, or the biological plausibility is there. It basically explains that a drug can actually lead to some sort of side effects, so on and so forth. So we also try to assess at medical review step whether this is an expected reaction or an unexpected reaction. So the go-to document for this is the labels, which usually we discard it when we get those medicines, which we usually doesn't look at. But it is a very important document from pharmacovigilance perspective. So we have what we call assessment of causality, assessment of coding, if that has been done properly or not. And then probably we also look at whether that particular reaction is expected or not. And we also try to provide a causality comment. If it is because of the drug, why it is. If it is not because of the drug, what are the reasons? Probably it can be explained by a concomitant medication, or it can be explained by any other underlying medical condition. So once that is done, if there is any missing information, we do proceed for following up with the reporter. I'm sorry. In some cases, it is possible. In some cases, it is not possible. And then the ICSR goes to the submissions workflow, wherein we report it to the regulatory authorities wherever it is needed. If it is not to be reported, if it is not an expedited report, it would usually go into the aggregate report, what we call it as PADER reports, or the PSUR, or the PBRE reports. So and then we also have a signal detection activity which goes on a periodic basis. It can be 6 monthly or it can be yearly. It again, these are all dependent on company specific convention. So the opportunity lies in everywhere, in all the things, all the aspects which I am speaking about. One can be a medical information call center representative, wherein they are interacting directly with the reporter. One can be involved in literature review. One can be involved in liaising with the clinical trial site, taking in the information. One can be involved in the triage activity, in data entry activity, quality review activity. As physicians, we would be involved in obviously in the medical review activity. Subsequently, there is an aggregate report activity. There are initial drafters for that. Then there is a quality review for these reports as well. And then there is a medical review. Sometimes the regulatory authority come back and tell, the information what you have provided is not adequate, or we have got certain clarifications to ask for you, what we call as health authority responses. So we need to respond to that as well. So there is an hierarchy which is usually there. Usually people start with basic roles, what we call it as it's there in my next slide. I'll move on. So the entry roles are called as, for physicians, it is a medical reviewer role. There are a lot of synonyms for the drug safety physician. There's a drug safety physician role, and there is what you call as drug safety associates. This is basically for non-physician roles. So when the data entry happens, I mean, I have explained to you in detail. Once after a person completes a certain role, there is what you call as the mid-level roles. They come into the quality review, they get involved with signal detection activity or the aggregate report activity. They are involved in maybe risk management activities as well. At a senior role, we do have lead physicians. We do have the PV managers, the QPPVs, what we call as a qualified person for pharmacovigilance. QPPV requirement is usually for what we call the EU region and the UK region. For India, we have what we call PVOIC officer, pharmacovigilance officer in charge. So we have that, and they are like, as the level increases, as the hierarchy increases, as the level increases, the complexity of the work, it increases. So you're involved in a lot of activities. You need to speak to various stakeholders. You need to speak to the regulatory authorities. And for that matter, if you are managing, like let's say, you are a representative of the CRO, you would need to do a lot of liaison with the client, wherein they would have an oversight of the activities which are being done by you. Similarly, we have a PV head, and then at a global level, you can have a global head, risk management lead, who would usually be involved in end-to-end safety of the product. Basically, their roles would be more like oversight and how things are. If there are any serious issues, governance, they would be involved in what we call inspection or audit support. So on and so forth. So as the role increases, there are the additional activities which usually come in. For entry level roles, it is basically a drug safety associate. Different people have got different terminology. For physicians, what we call it as drug safety physician or a pharmacovigilance physician or a medical reviewer. And then as and when you keep on moving up the ladder, there are promotions and there are opportunities everywhere. What usually happens is, in my experience, what I have noted is sometimes people do continue in a more technical role. They sort of go deeper into more like a strategic role and all those things. But on the other hand, there are people who go into the managerial role wherein they will have the oversight, people management, client liaison, things like this. Whether all the KPIs, key performance indices, if those are being missed, so they would be more in a managerial role. So there are, like, as we proceed, there is a definite demarcation which usually happens more from a technical aspect and a managerial role. So what are the skills in demand? So as we have said, obviously we need to have technical and operational skills. We need to be well versed with the PV activities. We need to first understand what exactly is causality assessment, what is MEDRA coding, what is what exactly is an adverse event, so on and so forth. Similarly, we need to be well versed with the regulatory skills. We need to have an analytical skill wherein we need to see, as I said. Probably you are attributing a adverse event to a particular drug. You need to understand why you are attributing it. Is it really because of the drug, or it is because of some other reasons, or if there is any missing information? The third most important skill set is you need to have good soft skills. You need to have these leadership skills. You need to have good interpersonal skills, which usually differentiates a good PV professional versus a great one. So this is more applicable as we keep on climbing the ladder. Obviously, soft skills is a must, right, from people coming in, and these matter a lot. Apart from that, we are aware that AI is something which is fast, entering, encroaching upon most of the things we do in our day-to-day life. PV is no exception. We do have advent of artificial intelligence, machine learning in pharmacovigilance activities. I have a separate slide for that. I'm going to discuss that in detail. Give me probably as I proceed, I'll show that to you. So basically, you need to be good in subject. Second, you need to be good with regard to the guidance. What are the regulations? Third is the interpersonal skills, and you need to have some add-ons in the form of, like, what exactly is AI, some the latest things which are there in vogue in the market. So whenever I keep going to conferences, whenever I keep meeting freshers and people who have just started, MD pharmacology students and all, so they tell me, do we really have a growth of PV in India? Yes, I have in fact provided some of the references, which says that right now in 2024 it was an $8 billion market. It's expected to be nearly $12 billion by 2020, so approximately 6.5 annual growth rate, compound annual growth rate. Similarly, for India, there is a lot of work which is coming to India. I'm pretty sure everybody would be watching the news. They would be aware about a lot of GCCs coming to India. We had GCC of Eli Lilly, we have Bristol Myers Squibb, we have Novartis, we have Sandoz. We have a lot of companies which are based in India right now. And that is where the annual growth rate for India is on much higher scale when compared to others. So India is definitely growing, and it is expected to grow for foreseeable future. That is for sure. Similarly, we have Hyderabad and Bengaluru, which are now major life sciences pharma hubs. We have a lot of global pharma companies, GCCs, and a lot of CROs in Hyderabad and Bangalore as well. Even definitely, we do have CROs from Pune, Mumbai, and there are few in Delhi as well. But yes, right now Hyderabad and Bangalore, they are making tremendous progress on this particular front, and there's a very strong demand for PV roles here. Second most common question which people usually keep on asking me, how much I get paid for when I join as a drug safety associate, or for that matter as a pharmacovigilance physician. So usually for non-physician, the salaries usually are in average role of average amount of 2.5 to maybe 5-6 lakhs on an annual basis. the CTCs. As and when we keep on growing, there is there is a definite hike. One thing which is common across the industry is every year, whenever there is what we call we have the annual appraisal cycles. Usually in most of the companies, I think easily around 90% of them, usually every year there is a hike. Whatever salary you get based on your performance, based on company's performance, there is a salary hike which usually happen every year. And based on that, people keep on climbing the monetary packages what they get. Similarly, for what we call medical reviewers, usually starts from 8 to 10 lakhs, and I do know of certain pharma companies which give in excess of 12 to 13 lakhs annual packages. And with a experience of 8 to 10 years, average salaries range from 35 to 40 lakhs annually. So there is definitely growth in terms of monetary benefits which people can get. There are a lot of contractors, a lot of consultants who work in India. They work for US and Europe-based companies. They usually get higher salaries when compared to others. That is usually paid in on an hourly basis or in terms of US dollars and euros or pounds. So definitely those values are higher. And as we see, there are a lot of Indians who are there in very strategic roles. They are heading a lot of global, pharma companies. Definitely, we have the talent, we have the skill set to excel at at a larger canvas. Now, coming to future trends, this is the third most common questions which I usually get from people. Will AI take our jobs? Definitely, the role of AI is to, increase the efficiency, increase, try to identify a greater amount of adverse events which are happening, try to predict different trends which are arising because of with the data that is being presented. Definitely there is AI, it is automating case intake. Literature screening process is getting far easy with the advent of artificial intelligence. They usually apply, I have been a consultant to some tech companies, so they usually apply this NLP, and that usually helps them to identify what are the adverse events which are reported with the drug from these articles, from the articles which are published in PubMed or different journals which are indexed in PubMed or MPS. And instead of having so many people do it, there is an increased efficiency wherein only a quality review step is needed to check whether the machine has done it correctly or not. Similarly, from a signal detection perspective, and when you are handling a lot of huge amount of data from different sources, that is where AI is making its mark. But from a job perspective, is it going to take away the job? It's a very complex question to answer. Uh, I would probably look at maybe two different sides of the coin. Yes, it is going to remove the repetitive manual task. Obviously, we would need skilled professionals who can apply their clinical acumen and regulatory understanding in trying to decipher what the AI has given to us. Apart from that, there are a lot of jobs which are coming to India. So in my preceding slide, you have noted that the job market in India is growing. In the PV market in India is far greater than almost 25-30% greater when compared to the growth rate in at a global level. So obviously there are a lot of work which is coming to India, and in fact, the organization which I am working in, we are in fact working for US based and UK based clients, and they are more than happy to come to India, get their work done. Obviously, the reason being, one, we have the skill set. Second, we have got a huge talent pool, skilled resources, and obviously the third factor is the remuneration when compared to the Western counterpart is higher, it is lesser in India. So that is another reason why people prefer to look towards the East, that is India, and for that matter, even Philippines, which is also growing in the PV market. So to stay prepared for pharmacovigilance professional, constant upskilling is very important. We need to understand what AE it is, what exactly it does, and how we can utilize AE to make our work easy. That is something we need to adapt ourselves. Otherwise, it becomes a little difficult when a person with a and an upskilled person comes in your place. It becomes a greater advantage to hire that person who is well versed with AI and skills like this rather than to take a person who is not that up to the mark from this AI perspective and all. But yes, it's adapting. It's an adaptation right now. It's going to take certain amount of time, but definitely the future does lie in introduction of AI and data analytics and stuff like that. So this is about the future. Yes, there is going to be impact on unskilled works, but we need to have skilled people who are well versed with AI and its adaptation to analyze and decipher what has been thrown to us by applying this artificial intelligence tools and all. And apart from that, there is a lot of work which is going to come to India, which is coming to India, that is going to offset any decrease in the jobs which is occurring because of AI. It's a complex question basically. And the other thing, what I suggest is, if I go back in time, one of the things which I usually feel is long back when we were doing our MBBS and MD, our reading materials were not that well versed with what you call PV was just one small chapter. It was not it was not much stressed upon. But yes, wherever it is, even for physicians who are into other activities, for academicians, for students, for any professional, healthcare professional, I would suggest probably we also need to be well versed with what is there. What is pharmacovigilance about? We need to read about it. So we have certain excellent guidance documents from European Medical Agency EMA, and for starters, I would specially recommend GVP Module 6. So it gives a very it gives a bird eye view about what exactly pharmacovigilance is about. What are the you would get to know what are the basic elements, what are the foundational elements. You would get to know from that. Apart from that, there are a lot of e-courses. It is there from UMC, Upasala Monitoring Center. We are from WHO. There are a lot of trainings which are freely available on YouTube. There are a lot of people who have put on a lot of educational material. And apart from that, we also have Udemy courses and Coursera, which usually also provide a lot of courses and training material on pharmacovigilance. So on and so forth, we need to keep reading. So my suggestion for people is to read about GVP 6 module. It gives a bird's eye view about. You just need to just type this word GVP module 6 EMA. You would get that particular PDF. It's a long document. It will take certain time for you to read in detail and go about it. But yes, it is a must read, is what I would say if somebody wants to come into pharmacovigilance. So I'm going to end over here by saying every safe medicine tells a story of vigilant science. I would keep the session open to questions. And apart from that, I have just left my email address here. Maybe if you feel like you have got certain questions post conclusion of this webinar, probably you can feel free to reach out to me over email, sibghatullah@outlook.com. You can just post me your queries. So I'll be very happy to get back to them. Saying that, I'll stop sharing my screen and I'll keep the session open to discussion.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Siddhartullah, for nice description on what is the workflow that is followed in pharmacovigilance, especially industry pharmacovigilance activities. And also you mentioned about the future and also risks related to AI development and new challenges that are coming up. Definitely, it is the need of the hour. We can't relax. We need to keep on, sharpening our skills and keep getting ready for future challenges. So that is always there. And so nice. Thank you so much for providing all the information. I believe that all the information what you share are very valuable for the youngsters, especially those who are opening their eyes towards the pharmacovigilance and eyes and ears towards pharmacovigilance, and who are looking forward for their career in pharmacovigilance. And I actually, I would like to tell you that, I started my pharmacovigilance work in 2007. And at the time, I think no company was doing pharmacovigilance activities except a few, Quintiles and Accenture, and some of these, one or two companies they were doing, PPD maybe. So at that time I was with Icon, and we developed team of 40 members and recruited fresh graduates and trained them for 6 months, and made them drug safety associates, and few managers were identified, and they were also having the rules to monitor all these activities. I ICSRs were processed using all this. This is nice, and those are the days where people used to take the fresh graduates and then train them. But I think now that is not possible. So people need to be ready with industry ready material only recruited. So the people who are ready to run right from the day one, and who are already well aware of the guidelines what you just mentioned, some of the materials that are already available, and we are also fortunate that various books also available actually. Maybe reference materials are also available, and if you search online, there may be few free courses also will be available. And I think this recorded recorded meeting is already going live in YouTube, and it will remain there in our channel, MPS channel. So I request all the people who could not gather the complete information, who joined late, they can very well go to the MPS channel, and there they can see again and again what are all the guidance, because it's always very important, like seniors who are already in the industry, who give even a small piece of advice that can be the savior for the people who are really having many failures after attending many interviews. They are not able to crack the job. I think the tips what you have given, they are very useful, and especially those who are studying MD pharmacologists. And I think they are the requirement of knowledge means the expectation is very high. It's not that you will be put on to drug safety associate. Drug safety associates generally those who are with B Pharma, M Pharma, or with dentistry, or any allied health sciences, or MSc pharmacology. So all the the down the line people, they will be recruited as drug safety associates, and the MD pharmacologist will be directly recruited as drug safety physicians, if I'm correct, right? So
Yeah.
once they join as drug safety associates, the expectation is very high. They are supposed to know the drug safety associate job and the drug safety physician's job also. So physician role is to verify what the drug safety associates have done, what are the causality assessments they have done, whether the literatures that are identified have they been properly channelized all the information. So all these information, all these important techniques, even though the company do train them during the initial days, but the expectation is that MD pharmacologists and other senior, especially physicians, they should be, up and running right from the day one. So am I correct, Dr. Siddharth? I would like to, put some light on this.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what is very necessary is from a physician perspective, the expectation is very high because the activity, whatever they're doing, a lot depends on causality assessment, and causality assessment can be very well done by a physician because they would have been part of the clinics, they would have done their MBBS and MD, they would know the disease process as well. They would know about other there can be basically a clinical judgment where they need to where they would need to apply that and try to decipher whether a particular drug would have really resulted in that adverse event. So that is where people do look up to physicians from a coding perspective, trying to understand what exactly the case is about. So a lot rides on being a physician. Saying that, yes, in an industry we do have people from different specialties, pharmacy background, and dentists, nursings, and they also put in a lot of effort, tremendous effort, and they're also doing really good. And kudos to them for it's basically a great family, and that's how the work goes on.
Okay. So there is a question from Dr. Anshuman.
Yeah.
Right now, let us get into this question answer mode.
Yeah.
So he says it's a very fantastic deliberation, and his question is that, yeah, even I would like to ask you this question. He says that how academia and industry can collaborate with each other to carry out pharmacovigilance related activities. It's the need of the hour. That's what he mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
maybe like no, let me. I think did you work in any medical college that Siddhartha, before joining industry?
Not really. Once I was done with my MD Pharmacology, I came back to Hyderabad on 16th of May, and 17th of May 2016, I joined the industry. So
Okay.
no academic
So,
exposure.
yeah. Did you work as like during your MD? Did you collect the areas and
Yes,
then
yes.
did your report upload them to Vigiflow?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So we
Then
had this.
I'll
I was doing my MD in JSS Medical College, Mysore. So there, the system was very much well developed of reporting of this. That was even it was one of the nodal center, JSS Mysore. And it's a very good question what Dr. Ansuman has asked. How can industry and academia collaborate? So I would break this particular question into 3 or 4 segments. One, what I see after taking the interview, this is uniformly applicable across all the specialties, across the pharmacy, physicians, and so on and so forth. Most of the people as fresher, when they come, they are not well versed with they come clueless. Basically, they do not have the usual idea of what usually happens in industry. So how we can collaborate? We need to have certain sort of arrangements with the industry and academia, where the people, where the students, they are posted for a certain amount of time, and they sort of get an exposure, hands-on exposure, what usually happens in the industry. I know of Sandoz, I know of Novartis. Usually they give some sort of internship. Even I think Novo Nordisk, and they give opportunities to freshers just passed out MD students, MD PG students, to be part of their industry. They call them for 1 to 2 months, and then give some sort of an exposure. So we need to have certain collaborations like this, wherein people get hands-on exposure during their student life, what usually happens in industry. Second thing, from a pharmacovigilance perspective, how the topics such as signal detection activity, preparation of risk management plans, what exactly happens in periodic safety update reports. These are not well touched during our academics. So there needs to be a greater emphasis on how to go about making the student ready for the industry once they have passed out from the colleges. And the third thing is obviously is about what we call some sort of an association, wherein we have people from the industry coming down to those colleges and all, wherein they speak about their experiences, how exactly the industry goes about. Mind you, it was a rarity during even 10 years back, when people from industry used to come to the colleges and used to apprise the students about what usually happens. For me, MR activity is basically medical review activity. Even during my PG, the initial phase of my PG, I used to say it as medical representative. So I was not aware of it. So this was the reality, this was how it was around 10 years back, 12 years back. But now, there is something which we need to inculcate. We need to invite people from the industry to come to the academia, get a hands-on, first-hand record of what usually they are up to, what usually happens in industry. One, and send people to industry, get their internship. Third, greater emphasis on the pharmacovigilance and what exactly happens in the industry, in the academia. So to make them more prepared. I see another question. Is there any opportunity for PV internship for freshers in ORCIMED? Unfortunately, we don't have, but you have taken my email address. Probably you can send me your resume. I'll see if I can just forward it to any of my colleagues or any industry friends who are actually looking for some interns. I can just put a word. I'll try, but I'm not promising. But I'll try my level best if that can be done.
Okay. And so what I wanted to you may really mentioned that your industry academia collaboration can be done. And maybe I think I would like to know if the thought is coming into my mind, if everything works fine, I would like to, maybe we'll discuss offline also. I would
Sure.
like to, organize one day workshop on some of the, top things, what you just mentioned.
Mhm.
We are all talking about, career opportunities and regular all the activities, what we are, what are the opportunities available, all those things, we have been discussing. Now, next, to make the industry ready, MD pharmacologist, I would like to, organize some workshop, most probably as a pre-conference workshop. I request you to, come up with some, teaching material for which is useful for which can be covered in one day,
Sure.
like signal detection activities and some of the anyway reporting and all those things people are already aware, like
Yeah.
visit flow and all those things.
Yeah.
Maybe we ourselves can conduct that also because anyway we are doing that regularly. But some of the things after reporting, after uploading to the database, what happens, and maybe challenges in uploading or review related activities, like as a physician, some of the as a drug safety physician, what activities they are supposed to do and some of the responsibilities and how to resolve their queries or improve their skills. Some of these related things, if you can come up with a small course, and you can also attract, maybe if you can do alone or maybe additional members also, it will be nice. So we would like to host it during our MPS Con 2026 pre-conference workshop. So if you are ready and if you are available, and if our timelines works out, it will be nice to have you here. So thank you so much for opening up the discussion, and we will be definitely looking forward for that. And there is one more question, sir. There are some cosmetic products which are used for pharmaceutical or healing actions. Then what happened?
Yeah. Yeah.
So are they come under cosmetovigilance or pharmacovigilance?
So this is more like from a regulatory aspect. How do we classify such products? Usually, when it is not under pharmaceutical product, it would go under the cosmetic thing. So usually the soaps, what we have, we do get something like scabicide soap and all, because they have got an active pharmaceutical ingredient under them. It would go under the pharmacovigilance aspect. Ketoconazole soaps, shampoos, ketoconazole shampoos, and all those things. So they go under what we call pharmaceutical because they have an active drug ingredient in them. Otherwise, certain other bioactives, we have cosmetic agents. Again, there is a recommended list from the regulatory authority. They provide details about what constitutes a cosmetic, if it is there in that particular list, what is the maximum level it is applicable as in cosmetic. So that would go under the cosmetic part. Cosmetovigilance as such is not well developed in India. Right now, Europe is coming up big time with having cosmetovigilance, as one of the important activity, and make it more regulated market. So yes, if at all, if there is any, to answer in a simple way, if there is what you call any active ingredient, any drug involved, it is it would come under pharmacovigilance aspect.
Okay, so anything else? I think Dr. Anshuman mentioned as a response to our discussion, it's a great idea to conduct a hands-on workshop on signal detection, risk benefit assessment, aggregate reporting, writing, and AI artificial intelligence. Very nice. And also exposure to Argus or REST. So that's nice. So we'll look forward for that.
Oh,
Hope
definitely.
we'll
So
be able
one
to
of the
make it.
one of the reasons why I really agree for having webinars and be part of this conferences is, I imagine myself as a student where it was like a rarity to have industry folks come and speak, get an insight of what usually happens in industry. So any opportunity like this, if MPS society is conducting, I would be more than happy to be part of it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Siddhartha, for formally making yourself available. So we will definitely work out a methodology for it.
Sure.
And then actually, one more thing, what I was actually in the question from my side actually, which I thought after reading Dr. Anshuman's question, that see what is happening. Whatever especially the pharma industry pharmacovigilance activities, they are mainly concentrating on the articles that are published in the journals and where the safety issues are identified, or maybe Facebook, LinkedIn. I think you will have some algorithm to identify them, and then you have to upload. But according to my experience, I'm the pharmacovigilance coordinator since last 6 years here in our center, and a lot of data what we upload to the Vigiflow. Basically, I don't know that data will be available for you for doing the uploading into your database or not. How that is how that is utilized for are they this PVPI, are they sharing that data with the pharmaceutical companies, or are they just because we keep on uploading, they will only give some signals here and there, but later we don't know whether that has reached that particular company or not, or how.
So that particular data usually is linked to that Upasala Monitoring Center and WHO. They come up with certain recommendations that there are some signals involved. Even our regulatory authorities, they do release some sort of bulletins and all saying that there are some side effects which are being reported. But from a pharma company perspective and biotech company perspective, it is mostly to do with the data which they have collected. And apart from that, from US FDA perspective, especially from EMA perspective, we do get certain updates from the regulatory authority. I mean, this is much developed in EU, UK, and US FDA, even with Australia regulatory agencies. These are well developed, wherein they make us available what are the side effects which are reported to their websites and to their data collection system. And then this particular information is again taken up by the pharma companies and further analyzed from they book in such cases, they book in such ICSRs which have been reported. We have that yellow card system in UK, and there are so many channels through which this particular data goes about. But in India, it is not that well developed. It goes to the Upasala Monitoring Center, and from there is release of bulletins and all that. There is some side effect which is being reported with a particular drug, or there is some signal which is there.
Okay, so one more thing I know that is thought that is coming into our mind. What is happening now? Like actually, it's said that any 100% they are taking the drug, 5% of them at least will develop some adverse consequence related to the use of the drug. And see, currently we are a 700-bedded hospital, and the minimum 1,000 patients comes in, and the 1,000 patients goes out as a outpatient people, and at least 600 to 700 patients are there inside the hospital, and we get hardly around 50 maximum ADRs per month for report. It means that actually there should be a minimum 50 reports every day. So yeah, 50 into 330 is equal to how much? 55, almost 1,500 ADR should be happening in a tertiary care center, and but only 50 are getting reported.
Yeah.
And why it is happening? Because as you know that in the academia, we are not only doing only pharmacovigilance activities, we are doing many activities related to our regular job and training the MBBS students, pharmacology, teaching and everything. In addition, lot of meetings, examinations, and conferences, attending all these. And we don't get any support, any financial support from the PVPI or any other organization. And my question is there any corporate social activities that are conducted by the pharmaceutical companies that funds can be diverted towards improving the reporting activities or supporting the pharmacovigilance centers? Because if we keep on depending on this government agency, I don't think anywhere we will go forward. We will be scrolling here only. And is there any solutions we can find through this kind of sourcing of funds coming from the pharmaceutical or any other agencies? Because as I understand that corporate social responsibility is the most important responsibility every corporate need to do and so much of money has to be spent on, on these social activities. But we are not seeing any social activities coming from any pharma companies, not only pharma companies, not even the IT companies or anyone. So much of activities goes on building hospitals, building roads, building bridges, and many things, or even serving the old age people. Let them do all those. But this is also important. This is not happening. So, is there any way we can, work towards bringing awareness towards this and channelizing some funds towards this pharmacology?
Yeah. So the problem is more complex than it may seem, Doctor. The thing is that I was in fact doing one separate seminar on this particular topic, underreporting of adverse events in India. So it's a very big issue. One, it can be the infrastructure. We don't have that particular infrastructure in place. Infrastructure as in you have physicians who are like treating patient. They usually don't report because in a day's time they're seeing some 50 patient or 100 patients. The healthcare workers, they are overwhelmed with the work what they are doing. Usually there is no there is no mojo to go ahead and report such adverse event. That is the first point. The second point is lack of awareness. What usually the physicians do is they are so overwhelmed with the work, even for that patients and all. Little side effect may be there. I mean, for like, let's say you've given a vaccine, post that there is some fever and all. Such kind of adverse event should also be reported ideally, but people usually don't report. So that awareness of reporting adverse events should be brought both in the healthcare fraternity, plus it should also be part of basic school education and intermediate education, wherein we apprise the people that if there is any side effect, which you need to report it. So the mindset need to change over here. And apart from that, you have made a very good point about the corporate social funds. You develop, you need money to do anything. So obviously, I am not aware of any pharma or a biotech company or a CRO which is involved in giving or diverting the CSR funds for development of pharmacovigilance. I'll try to find out about that and keep you apprised. But it's a very great thought to have that particular thing in place and to make the system more robust. Saying that, we do have the regulatory net. So it was not that stringent few years back. We do have a lot of inspections which are happening now, wherein the regulatory bodies are also tightening their net and asking people, there are pharma companies to report such adverse event. So we are moving in a right direction, but the pace is very slow. But I think eventually we'll be there, and it is everybody's responsibility to pitch in wherever they can and try to improve the underreporting which is happening, which goes a long way in making the medicine safe. So we need to make sure that these are reported at the earliest.
Okay, so I think we are almost there. Just 1 minute left. And if any further questions are there, anyone would like to raise hands, please raise your hand.
I think there is one more question. So can you please give us a small roadmap for first year postgraduates to be industry ready by end of 3 years? If you are in first year, I would say that please read, take your time, 2 months, 3 months. Please complete GVP 6 module, which will give you an idea. Post that, probably the HODs or, their good officers probably can try for some sort of an internship opportunity, or maybe, we have some industry experts coming in and speaking to you about what exactly happens and give a more hands-on training. So GVP 6 module is something which I would recommend. You can start off right away.
Okay, very nice. Thank you so much. And I think it was very nice. Everyone enjoyed, and we have like a big appreciation from Medical Pharmacology Society to Dr. Siddhartha sir. Very nice. It was very nicely conducted and also nicely deliberated topic. Now I would like to show the certificate which I have designed. So thank you. This is for you from our side. I'll be sending through the mail also. So congratulations.
Thank you so much
for completing the webinar perfectly in time, and we had a nice discussion. And also, like, we have something to take home and also look forward for. So most importantly, take home is that all areas should be reported, and all the youngsters who are aiming towards becoming pharmacology, pharmacovigilance experts, they can start their preparation right away and immediately by going through the global pharmacovigilance guidelines. So pharmacovigilance guidelines that is available, volume 6, I believe.
Yeah, GBP module 6. Yeah.
Yeah, module 6. So please download that. All the material is available freely. So please available. So please go ahead and download and read through it. And also there are a lot of course materials are available. If you search Google, if you search YouTube, if you search some of the freely available resources, LinkedIn, so you will get a lot of material available already. So please go ahead, download and utilize that. And the second point is that, integration of industry academia, like internship opportunities. Please look forward for that. And also, maybe in the future, the MPS Con 2026, we would like to have the conference workshop highlighting two topics that are discussed today, like signal detection and aggregate reporting and all those things. So hands-on workshop sometime, something like that. We'll be interested to host, and we look forward to conduct it successfully. And then going forward, so please do connect with Dr. Siddhartha sir for any kind of support wherever possible. But otherwise, you can very well write to Medical Pharmacology Society, where there is an opportunity for us to basically we would like to connect with anyone interested. Request like if anyone interested to provide courses, we'll be happy to organize. And if someone is interested to speak additionally, because we'll be happy to welcome new speakers so that we can add more value addition along with this discussion. And so hoping for future good activities from MPS Society. We always strive towards doing better and better every time. And please note that hereafter we will be very strict in allowing the people to enter the Zoom link. Okay. And if you have noted that I deleted the link, I think exactly at 6:10, and we will not allow anyone after the timing, that is set timing. And we want everyone to join well in time and participate actively, and also ask questions, and also join with your name, okay, with your official account, Zoom account, with your personal account, Zoom account, and mention your name. Don't mention iPhone, Zoom phone, or MI phone, nothing. I'm going to delete, and one person I deleted today, and the person did not get the opportunity to enter into the Zoom meeting itself. Basically, these are all the security features. Why we would like to be strict, because you might have seen last webinar, we had a little bit difficulties and hackers coming in and creating nuisance. So we don't want such things to happen. And let us be professional. Basically, we are trying our best to give you the best experience. And we want, everyone to be more disciplined, so that, we will have a very happy ending, and we will have good, deliberations. We will devote our important time towards doing more creative things, more, productive activities. That's the major thing. So thank you so much for being with us. And I would like to thank again and again Dr. Siddhartha
Thank you so much.
For being part of it. And thank you for volunteering. And we look forward to see, anytime, whenever you feel you have a material to share, encourage the juniors. Because see, what I'm saying is, why are we doing all this? People think that the direction was in our university. So since I have postponed it, but we have already posted it. I did not want to post. We wanted to do it as we promised. So immediately after this, I'll be going to convocation function of our Dayanand Sagar University. and it's a big function, but I'm missing it. But still, I am devoting my time for all of you. So I'm a busy man, like you may be thinking that, I don't have any job. I'm not talking about, someone who knows me already, but I'm doing book editing, I'm organizing conferences, I'm working on research projects, I'm doing, some work with the engineering work to people. So a lot of work is going on. I'm a professor and HOD of a department, and we do, like we are very much professionally interested to improve our profession and our people. And the kind of, like rigor we have towards developing our profession, I expect, like even though we are already getting aged, we want the same kind of disciplined approach from the youngsters too. Now we see that, like lot of lethargy in participating and taking part in our activities. But I think that like you should come out of this shell. Then only like you can see like we have Dr. Sukatula. He the day he finished, he came back to Hyderabad. He already joined the job. Okay, I would like to tell you myself. I worked. I did my MBBS and MD from a rural medical college, Ballari Medical College. It's known as the hottest place in Karnataka. So if you don't know, please know this. And but we lived there for I lived there for 10 years, and after completing my MD, the first, immediately I had an opportunity to present my paper in an international conference. And before that, I gave interview to three places. Okay, three places. I had three jobs on the first day itself. All the three people where I gave the interview, I had the opportunity with me, and then I took the job which is paying me very less. Okay, out of all the three, one offered me 25,000, another offered me 15,000. I took the one that is 11,000. Okay, so I received an opportunity from St. John's College, which is 11,000, and a company 25,000, and another medical college paying me 15,000. But I chose the last one, that is the 11,000, that is at St. John's, and then I joined there. From then onwards, there is no looking back. Okay, so never go behind money. Money is very important, but money is not the only important. Okay, you can very well do without money, and you can earn. Like money will follow you. So it has followed me, and now it's not the same what I was in the 2001. So I have everything. Like at the end of the day, we just require two meals, one breakfast, 2.5 feet by a 6 feet bed. That's all. That's all is required. So nothing more is required. And definitely, family, other expenses will come in. But our MD pharmacology is sufficient to pay everything for you. Okay, to cover up your minimal expenses. So that's why I suggest all of you to be, like since this is a career-oriented topic, what we are talking, pharmacovigilance career. In addition, I think you also mentioned about the soft skills. These are all what I'm talking about. They're all coming under the soft skills. So ensure that, like your mind is stable, most importantly, and you are adaptable, and you can be, reached by your colleagues and your seniors. Okay, so don't corner yourself with much higher egos or some kind of prejudice or preconceived things. Okay, don't keep all these in your mind. So keep yourself open, be ready to learn, be open, and be down to earth, so that people are able to reach you. Okay, so your MD is definitely great, but that is not the only great thing. Okay, and B Pharma and M Pharma graduates, they have become directors, they have become CEOs also. So MD pharmacologists also have become, but now, like if you see, we are not the only people who achieve the higher strength. Okay, so God is great, and the best, a lot of blessing on all of you. And if you are down to earth, if you are interested to learn and be adaptable. So with this, I think I would like to, with this closing remark, I don't want to take too much of time. Thank you so much for joining with all this. We wish you again best. We want you to grow more and more, and we look forward to see you in our MPS Con 2026 in Bangalore. I think with your team, I believe that you also volunteer to give more discussion on pharmacovigilance and other things. We look forward for having those things also during our upcoming conference. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Everyone have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I will end the call. Thank you.
Thank you.